Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Rowe. We're looking at Geometry Part A. This is Lesson 5, and we're going to talk about parallel and skew. Now, some of this is going to be review from what we've done in a previous lesson. Some of it's going to be new, which is the skew part, and then some we're going to build on concepts that we talked about already, which is parallel and plane. So we're going to review some of that as well. So let's talk about and just remind everyone what parallel is. We're going to use this image as our point of instruction here. So parallel lines, remember they're lines that are coplanar, so they're in the same plane. So for example here, HG. HG is a member of several planes here. Now we're going to treat this rectangular prism as if it is extending forever. So each of these would be a line instead of a line segment, and each of these planes would be extending forever. Just kind of hard to visualize that, so this is the best visual representation that we can use. So if we take a look at HG right here, a line that's in the same plane with it that it's parallel to would be, for example, DC. And it's in this back piece of the box here, the best way to describe it. So it never intersects DC, it's in the same plane. But it's also parallel to EF. Now EF is in a different plane. So that's the top of the box, basically. But HG is in the plane with it, and they're parallel, they never intersect. So they never intersect. And if we wanted to state that two lines are parallel, we use this parallel bar notation. So the example I gave here is AB right here is parallel to EF, and EF is right here. So that's just a quick review of what parallel is. So now we're going to talk about the concept of skew lines. So again, we're going to use the same visual to help us. Now the difference between parallel and skew is that skew lines are not coplanar. So they're in a different plane. And the big thing is that just like parallel lines, they never intersect. So we want a line. So let's go back to HG. So what line is in a different plane from HG and will never intersect HG? Well, the one I can see right here is BF. BF right here is in a different plane. It's not going to intersect HG anywhere. Now it's going to intersect a plane that HG is a member of, but it's not going to intersect HG. So that's the idea of skew. So for example here, just an example, AB right here and GC. So GC is this line right here. They are skew lines. AB is a member of this plane. It's a member of this plane on the bottom. And it's also a member of a diagonal plane that we'll kind of try to look at a little bit later. But GC does not intersect AB. Now it intersects a plane that AB is in, but it doesn't intersect AB. So those are skew lines. So now here's a concept that we're going to build upon another concept. Now we talked about parallel lines. We're also going to talk about parallel planes. Now, as the name kind of gives you a hint, a parallel plane will be a plane that doesn't intersect another plane. So for example, HG, or I shouldn't say another plane, but doesn't intersect the plane it's parallel to. So HGFE right here, the top of the box, is parallel to the bottom of the box, ADCB. So those are parallel planes. And there's also a set of parallel planes on the sides. So the sides are parallel planes. And so would be the front and the back. So the front right here, and then the back of the box. Those would be parallel planes. So just an example, ABCD, which is the bottom of the box, is parallel to plane EFGH, the top of the box. So those are parallel planes. So let's take a look at an example and see if we can determine some parallel and skew lines. So here is our new picture that we're going to draw here. And we want to identify lines that are parallel to ST. So right here, ST. So we're focusing on ST right here. So what lines are parallel to ST? So ST, remember that has to be a line in the same plane. So if we look in the back of the box, for example, ST would be parallel to XY. So those are parallel lines. Now if we look at the top of the box, for example, ST right here would be parallel to RU right there. So those are parallel lines. And then if we look at this diagonal plane, and this is the plane that we were talking about just a minute ago. So I'm going to try to draw this parallel plane right here the best I can. So there is the lines right there. ST is a member of that diagonal plane as well. And so that means that ST would also be parallel to WZ right here. So those are the parallel lines that ST, or the lines that ST is parallel to. And you see that it's a member of all of those planes. So now what about some skew lines here? So let's take a look at some lines that are skew to ST. Now in order to be skew to ST, it would have to be in a different plane. Now it can intersect the plane, but it can't be in the same plane. But it would never be able to intersect ST. So the two obvious ones, at least I say they're obvious, would be RT, or RW, excuse me, right here. And UZ. So those are the obvious ones. The front of the box, you see those aren't going to intersect ST. They're not in the same plane as ST, which is this plane, the top plane, or that diagonal plane. They're not the same plane. Yes, they do intersect, but they're not in the same plane. So those are skew lines to that. But now we also have these lines right here. So WX and ZY. Those aren't going to intersect ST either. And they're not in the same plane as ST. Now they intersect a plane that ST is a member of, but they're not in the same plane with ST, and they don't intersect ST. So those are skew lines. Skew lines never intersect, but are in different planes. All right, so let's take a look at our next little example here, which is parallel planes. So here is our visual. So what is a plane that is parallel to plane STYX? So STYX is this plane across the back of the box. So back here. So what plane is parallel to that? Well, that would be the front of the box. So RWZU. Just make sure we name a plane that you name the letters, start with one, and then name them all the way around in order. So it is parallel to plane RUZW. So I hope this helps you remind you of a little bit of the concepts we talked about with parallel lines. And I hope it helps you understand the concept of skew lines. If you are struggling understanding this concept, please let us know in a teacher message or make an appointment for a help session.